Welcome to Creatively Exposed, a podcast and safe space for Black and marginalized creatives to empower, educate, and uplift you through the final product of self and creation. Bring a homie, share with a homie, and enjoy the show.
Welcome back to Creatively Exposed. Last week was probably confirmation that I'll probably be doing 3 episodes or 4 episodes depending on how many weeks are in the month. So that last week, and we'll see, right? But that last week I'll probably not have episodes. So, on my spirit today is the thought of feeling your feelings and allowing yourself to let those emotions tell you what kind of art to make, right? Like if you're, sometimes we want to like create art and we don't know where to begin or whatever. We're overwhelmed with emotion, and sometimes, right? Not everything, not all the time, but sometimes. Let me do this another way. Because where I'm at right now is feel your feelings, right? But also create art with that shit. Feelings and emotions can be fleeting, right? And it's kind of like inspiration. And so a lot of poems, well, that's my usual genre, are sad poems or love poems or nature poems. I mean, that ain't my genre, but like, we don't get, or maybe I haven't experienced enough rage poems. And maybe I'm telling on myself, right? But maybe also honest poems. There are beautiful ones, there are sincere ones, there are melancholy ones. But like, when you can't put your feelings anywhere else, why not create art with that shit? You know, rage is valid too. And rage is, to me, a couple of different things. First of all, rage is a right. Not everybody, because I'm talking to Black and brown folks for the most part around here. And so there is rightful rage of living in a society that is consistently trying to kill you because of what you look like and what the systemic bullshit is, foundations are set up as, right? And the consequences of simply trying to exist every single day, let alone thrive. And just all of the bullshit about being alive in this landscape, if we wish to say it like that, right? It is Black History Month. I'm sure that we are intimate with rage enough, but also don't swallow your emotions. Don't let it fester. This is where illnesses come from. And so that was a circular way to say, like, the way that I define rage, and everyone can have their own definition, right? is the heartbreak that has stayed too long without not fixing, but without resolution. And heartbreak comes in different things. It's not just love, heartbreak. It can be disappointment. It can be injustice. It can be sorrow. It can be betrayal. Like any of those not good feelings that have just sat dormant for so long, it turns into rage. It's kind of like a breakup. If you think about a breakup, you're gonna be sad, but then there's like the anger part or whatever. There's the different levels until you get over something. But sometimes things, you don't just get over it, right? Like it becomes a part of you, and it becomes your story. And so I don't know if I'm just rambling, but these are just the thoughts in my head. It's just like, feel your shit. It doesn't mean you have to take it out on the world, right? But also, if you gotta take it out on the people who have done the things to you. Not condoning violence, y'all. But allow your strong emotions to drip onto the page, drip onto the canvas. I'm looking at a canvas right now, and I think I'm gonna play with that because your girl is feeling many ways. But I think about how the thought process of like being a bigger person and not showing your frustrations, or those who have been programmed for being people pleasers or resolutionists, a word, for others, can feel resentful, right? And before boundaries were a thing, where would you put that, right? Like, where do you place things that you cannot always change or fix or erase, right? Like, you can't always isolate from the problems, but you can process the fuck out of them. And sometimes we live in our head so much that it feels bigger than it needs to be. Sometimes it's huge, sometimes it's traumatic, sometimes it changes you, but like, journal about that shit, but also create art with a different range of emotions, right? Something that I like to do when I wonder, like, okay, where have I been in these last few creations that I've made? For anyone who like jot stuff down in their notes, I love the Bear app. That's on iPhone. I think it's in Android by now, but it might just still be on iPhone. And I write small poems in there and ideas and different things, and in the search I'll put in like love. I've been discussing love for a while. Maybe we can have one of those episodes. And I'll just put like love or rage or bitter or hurt or whatever, and see the theme of like where I've been at mentally. And sometimes we can overthink our art, so just be swept in whatever you're feeling and see what comes out of it. I don't know, maybe somebody had to hear this, right? Maybe it's just me. But like, don't underestimate the power of rage. Some of the most powerful things that I have read and created have been out of frustration, have been out of a need for hope and something different. Ooh, this might just be for me. Art helps us process things, but it also helps us create the world that we would like to have. And so if you're like, oh, I just XYZ, remove the just from there, because you're spellbinding. You're creating a world that is possible. And so edit accordingly. Be fully present in it. Be inquisitive about it. Question your reasons why behind the heavy emotions, right? I have gone through certain frustrations and I'm gonna feel it, right? But then I'll be like, what is this really about? I also have 2 therapists. If you are new to the show, I'm totally a therapy person. I use Talkspace as well as a virtual therapist. Used to be in person, but the pantaloon. So just like be real with yourself in the only place that you truly can without judging yourself, which is your art. You know, I'm really thinking about painting because that's the only place where I'm not over analyzing and like spiraling. So welcome to my rant. I just felt like that needed to be heard, but also like the last episode was about shooting your shot. And so stop playing yourself. Stop playing small. And I'm definitely going to have an episode about humility. And it's definitely probably not going to be what you think. And so we are in Aquarius season. Shout out to the Aquarians. And I'll have stuff in the show notes about the erotic poetry event if you don't have plans on Monday. It's definitely mostly for singles, because, you know, but if you don't celebrate Valentine's Day and you like erotic poetry, you can enjoy that from the comfort of your own home. And I got something else coming up. Later in February, I'll give you some more info about that as well. And feel your stuff, feel your feelings, but also have a conversation with them through art. And it don't gotta go nowhere, right? Like, it doesn't have to be for publishing. Some shit you could really just do for you. Even though most times when I have felt very strongly about something and I have written about it, it usually hits. It usually was the words or the feeling or the vibe that somebody needed and was looking for. So don't underestimate the power of rage, joy, hope, disappointment, all of the things that make us human. Make it something that belongs outside of you, if that made any sense, right? Like, take that thing out of your body and put it on something that is tangible, because a lot of rage turns into grief and it starts to make us sick. And